All right. Next trade. Junior trades a first, a third, Tuck, and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
I like how you said it.
Ukko-Pekka.
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
For JT Miller. So a first, a third, Tuck, and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen for JT Miller. To me, and I'll tell you right away, I think this is a little bit of a hope and a prayer. It's you're trying to throw a Hail Mary, but you're not Mahomes. So, what do you think about this trade? And then we'll touch on the person
I
that
think
actually
for Junior competing as a competitor in the league, I think JT Miller will give him a better chance to winning this league than Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen or Tuck or the first and third that he's giving away. I think JT Miller is going to get traded. It's not if he will get traded. I know Vancouver's been saying no, he's going to get traded. And even if he doesn't get traded, he'll still produce with Vancouver more than Tuck will with Buffalo or Luke. Goalie wise, Luukkonen wasn't even starting for him with the two goalies he's got, which is Ottinger and Wolf. So, listen, as a competitor, I think it's a fantastic move. And for Quebec, who got what they got for JT Miller, is unbelievable because everybody knows that JT Miller was on the block and no one knows. Everybody knows the baggage he comes with, but he still got a first, third. Tuck, who could be a very reliable forward.
I had actually offered a trade also for JT Miller, but he wasn't interested in the players I had offered. So
I think Junior paid for JT Miller, but at the end, I think he's going to give him a better chance to win the league than Tuck or Luukkonen will.
Okay, Junior, your final thoughts on that trade? What did you think, and what were you thinking?
So I was in a position where I had a lot of assets. I had Vince's lottery pick. I had my own first round pick. I had 3 second round picks or 2 second round picks. I had 3 second round picks next year. So I was a bit loaded in terms of draft capital and players that I knew I wouldn't be able to keep for next year. So I built some good depth in goalie with Ottinger, Wolf, and Joseph Woll. And I had UPL. So between UPL and Joseph Woll, I would have had to make a decision next year. GM Tony or listener Tony liked UPL, so I included him in the deal because I was also willing to offer Trey Augustine instead. But he went with what's it called, UPL. Look, JT Miller in this specific league in last 3 years has averaged 3.8 fantasy points, 3.3 fantasy points, and 3.7 fantasy points. My comparison for JT Miller in the trade is to Alex Tuck, who maybe hit 3 fantasy points only once. So that's a huge upgrade for me. I know I'm getting him in a season where he's not producing much, but I was kind of a little bit thinking next year and future years. Also, long-term security with his contract at $8 million, I think is pretty fair. But more importantly, like you said, like the hope and a prayer, I'm hoping one of him or Patterson gets traded and this is all over and he goes back to playing his regular style of hockey. And that's what it is in the end. I'll have decisions to make in terms of cap-related decisions next year, but for the time being, I think the worst that could happen is he produces as well as Tuck did this year.
So I made a trade for JT Miller in Project Llama, which I think you brought up. For very similar reasons, I'm hoping that he does get traded sooner rather than later, although Patrick Allvin has come out and said, maybe there is no trade this year and it's an off-season thing. But it's come close a few times already for JT Miller to be moved, so I'm kind of feeling that it's going to be this year.
Well, you traded a 4th-round pick in 2025, Rasmus Anderson, Alexei Protas, who you signed as a free agent this year, which is free money. Trevor Connolly, a rookie drafted by the Vegas Golden Knights last year, for JT Miller and Cale Clague, which I guess Cale Clague was roster dump. Yeah.
So that's for me. JT Miller, like Rasmus Anderson, is a legit defenseman, but not producing very well right now in Calgary. And although he started the year on fire, really Trevor Connolly was the big piece that he was one of my first picks of the draft. But yeah, I felt comfortable giving that up again, thinking JT Miller will be traded before the deadline. So a little bit of a hope and a prayer for me as well. I maybe didn't give up as much as you, but I still gave up. It's very different leagues as well.
Very different leagues.